My name is Jeremy Quinones, and I am a PPC Account Manager.
What initially drew you to marketing and how did that journey lead you to JumpFly?
Well, that is a great story. It is a long story. So it first started out when I was in college. I actually started out as an accounting major. Um, Loved numbers. I was like, okay, cool. This is what I want to do. I'm going to do it. All right. So 1 year in, I'm like, this is not for me. I like being more creative. I like not being so right robotic, basically, is what I'm getting at. So obviously marketing is a lot more creative. You can have a lot more fun with it. And so I took one course that was great. So yes, that's how I ended up in the marketing world there. But it actually took me a while to get a job in the marketing world. I actually started out doing customer service. All that being said, I ended up at JumpFly. And marketing, yeah, I can't really see myself doing anything other than marketing at this point in my life.
What attracted you specifically to JumpFly and how's your experience been so far?
So the first thing was proximity to my house, right? It's at the time I lived about 10 minutes away. So that was number one. That was great. I didn't have to travel to the city, right? Which typically is where a lot of marketing companies are. And then doing my research, I realized that JumpFly actually has a great reputation. JumpFly was, I mean, one of the leaders in PPC management at the time. Obviously, we've expanded quite a bit since then. But that was one of the big draws too, is just they were the one. So that was great.
What was your first defined role when you joined JumpFly? How many different AMs have you worked with and how have you evolved with your responsibilities and your
Yeah.
duties?
So my first role was an account specialist, right? A lot of us start as an account specialist and work our way up. With an account specialist, right? You have a lot more of those day-to-day tests that not a lot of people like to do, like an SQR, but it's important. These are all important tests to do. But right, so I started out as an account specialist, joining meetings every now and then, right, doing my keyword research and all of that. And then over the years, that's evolved to me, right, being the face of an account, right, talking to the client, coming up with strategy. Both Nikki and I, right, my account, well, she's the vice president of search now, but the account director at the time, right, we come up with a lot of that strategy. And so my role is, right, she trusts me enough to be able to make decisions, right. Budget changes were not a thing I used to do. That's something I do all the time now. Um, how many different AMs have I worked with over the years? Only two, right? It's Jeff and Nikki. Yeah.
So, as you have gone and evolved in your role and your duties and you've brought more responsibility to you, has those has those transitions been difficult, challenging, or has it been more of a natural transition?
Yeah, I would say at first it was definitely challenging because I didn't know what I was doing. Coming in, I thought I knew what PPC meant, right? I learned it in college. Turns out I didn't know anything about PPC. So I had a lot to learn. So that was difficult. But throughout right, as the years have gone on, I've been on many, many calls with right, my two AMs I've worked with. Just the experience and everything I've heard from them, right? I've learned a lot. Um, the duties, yes, there is a lot more responsibility, but that's something I've accepted and know that that's what it's going to be. So I don't feel the pressure of any of that. It's just, it comes with growth.
Is there a skill or quality that you've developed in your time here at JumpFly that maybe you didn't expect you would?
Oh yeah, this is a big one. My voice. um, I never saw myself being an account manager here. Um, it just kind of fell into my lap. Communication was always difficult. I didn't have a lot of business experience, but obviously now 7, almost 8 years now, I've seen a lot. I've heard a lot. I think communication, finding my voice was not that I have a loud voice or talk a lot, but I feel more comfortable speaking to clients.
Can you share an example of a unique strategy or approach that you introduced that really helped a client achieve their goals?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say it's something I introduced. It was something that they brought to me. I was like, that's a great idea. Let me investigate it. But looking at performance max in a different way versus the typical way of setting up a campaign. So rather than targeting something super specific to what you offer, right? Taking a persona of a person and creating a campaign that way and leveraging the personas that we have to target, right? We have different messaging for a specific persona versus someone that's a bit younger. So that's been pretty unique and pretty successful.
So looking at the culture of JumpFly itself, is there something about JumpFly's culture that really stands out to you?
I would say the willingness to teach, right? Everyone is not holding all the knowledge that they know, right? They're not holding any trade secrets, right? They share it with everyone so we all succeed.
Why do you think clients choose JumpFly, and what keeps you passionate about working here?
Yeah, I think the reason why people choose JumpFly is experience, right? The longevity, um, just how long people have been working at JumpFly, right? Turnover, at least for as long as I've been here, it's very, very low. And also just, right, the knowledge, the experience, everything we know about PPC and now social and Amazon, I think that goes a long way.
So you talked earlier about communication and finding your voice, and obviously strong communication is a very important part of this role. What's your approach to keeping client and internal communication smooth and effective?
Yeah, being proactive is important. Sending an email when you see something's going well, something's not doing well, right? Just what you're seeing and how you're going to adjust, right? It goes a long way.
What is your favorite thing to talk about with your fellow coworkers, whether it be on a professional or casual level?
Yeah. So on my side of the world on JumpFly, right, call it the left side of the building, typically like to talk about pickleball, right? That's a very common one, or really just trash talking about who's the better athlete, right? Of course, it's me. Or right, sports, right? I like sports. I like fantasy football. That's a pretty common one that you'll hear me talking about.
What's a piece of advice you would give to somebody starting out in PPC marketing?
So if you're starting out PPC marketing, my one recommendation is to accept change. Just be willing to adapt on the fly, right? Because Google Ads, right, even social, all that, it changes quickly, and you need to be able to adapt to that very quickly.
Where do you see the future of PPC marketing going, and how do you plan to stay ahead of that curve?
So I believe it's going to be very AI driven. It already is pretty AI driven, but I think it's going to go there a lot faster, quicker, more heavily invested in all AI technology, whether it's from Google Ads or a third party. So to stay ahead of, right, the future of PPC, right, it's knowledge sharing, going on websites and reading proactively, like not waiting for someone to tell me to go read something. I need to go out and do it myself. I need to research things myself, find all these tools to make my job more effective, more efficient.
So you mentioned AI technology. Have you utilized or adapted any strategies with the rise of AI technology yet?
So within platform, yeah, absolutely. Leveraging any smart bidding or even any of the smart campaigns like Performance Max. And then other tools for like analytics or ad copy generation ideas. I don't think it's a set it and let's roll with it thing, right? AI is not there yet, but it does help with making things more efficient.
All right, Jeremy, thank you.
Thank you.